And it's basically the same conversation with New England at 3, just moving on to number 3. It's pretty much the best case scenario is honestly where they're sitting. Again, however you have these quarterbacks ranked, your best case scenario is them coming away with the top quarterback, but it feels unrealistic at that point. Maybe it's as funny as it is to say this, maybe it's more realistic that if Chicago is going to trade out of number 1, they would do so to 3 instead of 2 because they could probably demand more out of New England and they would still be right there for Marvin Harrison Jr. Because if Chicago is moving on from number 1, they're probably not going to take a quarterback because if they wanted to take a quarterback, they'd just stay at number 1 and they take the best one. So if they're moving from number 1, they're looking in a different direction anyways. They would still need a major wide receiver. They would still want to get Marvin Harrison Jr. So it's kind of funny to put it this way. Okay, well, 3 is more viable than number 2, but it might actually work out that way because they could get more in a haul for New England. So maybe New England entertains that. I think that certainly that new regime there is, well, I guess not new regime. It's a lot of the guys who are still there, but non-Bill Belichick led front office is going to leave no stones unturned to try to get the quarterback that they possibly can because they can't go into next season with Mac Jones. Ultimately, I do feel like it's going to be Jaden that ends up being that QB3. The Drake May stuff is fascinating because it just felt like for a long time we were debating who do you take at 1, Drake May or Caleb Williams. And now we're debating who do you take at 2, Drake May or Jaden Daniels. And so that is, to me, a fascinating development at this point of the calendar because this is the time of year when a lot of the insiders, a lot of the people who have a lot of really great connections to the league, whether they're draft analysts or just NFL reporters, this is kind of the time when they start to turn the page. Certainly after the Super Bowl now, everybody's looking towards the offseason. So everybody's texting you like, who are you going to pick? Like, what do you, obviously it's not as, straightforward as that at this point, but the more we hear, the more it seems like Drake may be falling a little bit. So I'm kind of getting off on a tangent now to basically say best case scenario for the Patriots is actually right where they're at. And it's just staying at number 3 and taking a quarterback because to me, there's no other way that you go out of this draft other than getting a QB in the first round in the top 3.
So I think to answer the question, you and I both at the moment like Drake May better than Jaden Daniels. So if I was New England at 3, I think I would want, and again, picking quarterbacks and predicting how good they're going to be, I do think it's challenging, and I don't think anybody has a great track record. And you're only going to be remembered for the pick that you actually make. A team may have had Mahomes as their number 1 and Josh Allen as their number 1 and whatever. They may have had all the right draft board, but they never actually, had a chance to pick those guys, and we'll never really know.
Yeah.
So you're only as good as the pick. But I think if we both have Drake May as our number 2 quarterback right now, I would want Drake May at 3 if I'm New England, right?
Yes.
Given that context.
Yes.
The one thing I'll disagree with is if the Bears do trade down, I don't think that means that they're rolling with Fields and that they're Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that means somewhere in their evaluation, they're saying Caleb Williams and Drake May or Jaden Daniels are close.
Okay.
And if they're close from an eval standpoint, then I always talk about the balance sheet. We can have one Caleb Williams or we can have Maye or Daniels plus whatever else we're getting in this haul. And you put that balance sheet up against each other. And if the Bears can get 2 or 3 more players, plus maybe their second or third quarterback option, that's the debate. And whether they move to 2 or 3, they could have 3 similar grades on all 3 of them. Who knows? But I think for New England, to answer the question specifically here, I would say their best case scenario is Drake May.
Yeah.
Just because I like him a little bit more than Jaden Daniels at the time. I don't feel strongly about any QB opinions because I'm too smart for that, Trevor. Too much of that throughout you don't need to have, stake in the ground quarterback opinions because we're looking for Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks, not just starters. We're looking for the elite guy, and good luck trying to predict the guy that's going to be a top 6 to 8 guy in the NFL. I don't think anybody's been great at it through the years necessarily. So I'll say Drake May for New England at 3 as their best case scenario.